and welcome guys, whoever's watching this video, welcome to the stream. And today we are going to be discussing React.js in and out, everything about React.js. Basically everything what I know about React.js, I'll be telling to you guys, and here we'll be making a list of all the things which we're going to cover in this particular video. We'll try to cover in this particular video, and a lot of things which I'll be explaining to you will be, wait, why something went wrong? This is not good. We'll have to do something for the chat. Let me actually do it. Hold on. So I'll have to go to studio. I'll have to go to live, and I'll have to go to manage. I'll have to click here. Then I have to go over here. Then what do I have to do? I have to go over here. I have to go to pop-out chat. I have to copy this URL, cut this URL, paste this over here, I guess. Okay, there you go. So all of you guys who are watching, welcome to the stream, and I hope so you guys are doing absolutely fine and things are great for all of you guys. I don't know why, bro. Why is all the calls come when I stream? Hold on. Okay, so let's get so hey Code with Anish, hey Asif, what's up? How are you guys doing? Yesterday we couldn't do the stream, and so we are continuing it today. I hope so you guys are doing absolutely fine. So first of all, I guess I should do something like this, and yeah. So hey, let's get started. Let's see what are we gonna cover. So we're gonna cover a lot of things. So we're gonna cover first of all, what we're gonna cover is we're gonna cover these hooks. What hooks we're gonna cover? So first of all, we'll start with use state, then we'll cover use effect, then we'll cover use context. No, then we'll cover use callback. Okay, then we're gonna cover use memo. Okay, then we'll cover use ref. Then am I leaving? Then we'll be covering custom hooks, how to create custom hooks. So this is like how to create custom hooks. And then we're gonna be doing, what are we gonna be doing? If I'm missing something, if you guys think I am missing something, just let me know. Okay, hey, new here, what name? Hey, what name? What's up, how are you? I hope so you're doing well. Let me set my things up. Hold on. Actually, I need to see the stream status, otherwise the stream closes sometime and I keep on speaking. So I'll have to see. Yeah, I'm here. So all of you guys here, welcome to the stream, and I hope so you guys are doing awesome, and you guys could say a hi to me if I am audible, and welcome. So we'll be covering in the hooks. What we're gonna cover is we're gonna cover use state, use effect, use callback, use memo, use ref, and how to create custom hooks. If I'm missing some hooks, please let me know, which is important. Okay, so we're gonna cover this. After that, oh, use context. Yes, exactly. We use context. If I'm missing something else, please let me know, any one of you. If it's relevant and if it's used a lot, we'll be covering that. So this will be a part one, what we're gonna learn. So part one is gonna be this. So after this, there will be a part two, which will also be in this video. So hey Rajan, what's up? How are you? How are you doing? How is life? Hope so you are doing good. So then there will be a part two where we'll be learning component restructuring, component, what is it? A component composition, how should we say that? So we'll be learning global state management library. So state management, what I'm thinking of is we'll be learning the stand, right? Hey Vandit, what's up? How are you? How are you doing? Today I am back with full energy. Okay, so we'll be not covering absolute basic in this, but are we gonna cover these all today? Yes, we're gonna cover all of these today. So if you're here, we're gonna cover all of these things. So in the global state management, I'll be covering just stand, nothing. We'll be not covering Redux, because all of you guys know that I hate Redux. Present, bro. What happens yesterday? Bro, what happened was my this you see, like, oh, where are you? Yes, you can see, right? So it's like 5G written. The 5G signal suddenly disappeared. I don't know what Geo is doing, and my and my fiber was not recharged, and I couldn't recharge it for some reason, because the fiber number, the actual recharge is from my mother's number, and there was this whole scene, so I couldn't reconnect in time, and the stream got cancelled. But we are go back again today, no worries. Okay, so we'll be doing part. Okay, so this is global state management. We'll be learning just, and all of these will be in TypeScript. So whatever you see over here will be in TypeScript. Okay, so then we will have a part 3. All of this will be covering one. So I'm saying part 1, part 2, part 3. It means everything is in one video. Okay, we'll be covering several. We'll be covering. Should I? No, the part 2 will be like not this. This should be part 3. Okay, this will be routers. Why is the stand over Redux? I'll explain that. Kshatriya, I'm sorry, I cannot pronounce your whole name, but Kshatriya, I'll be explaining why is the stand over Redux. Of course, I will do that. Don't worry. So in this, I'll be explaining React, router, version 5. So all of you guys, I think mostly know version 10 or version 5 also, version 4, but we'll be covering version 5 in this. And then if I'm missing something or something should be covered later or now, just tell me now, okay? And then the part 4 will be also covering certain UI libraries. So we'll be trying to cover something called Andy. Andy is a very famous UI library. So Andy, basics of Andy. Then we'll and then a little bit of Chakra UI as well. So both of them are very simple. We'll be covering them. So let's start with the hooks, and then you guys could we can add and subtract to this list. Okay, are you doing a remote job at home? Yes, bro, I am doing a remote job from home right now. Why not V6? Is V6 out? Yes, V6 is out. Yes, let's do V6. Let's do V6. Yes, V6. And I just remember in my company also we started suddenly, like just now, like 3-4 days back, we have started using V6. So that's a good idea. We'll be doing React Router V6. Okay, great. So let's get started with hooks, and let's get started. Yeah. Okay. So let's start with use state hooks. So first of all, let's set up a project. You guys already know how to set up a project. I expect you guys to know a little bit, like you have at least created some basic projects in React. That's the expectation, nothing else. Okay. So if you guys have created a basic project in React, how long will be today's stream? Unless we can cover all of these. See, if this stream was tomorrow, I could have streamed till 2 or 3 in the morning, but tomorrow I have to wake up and do work. We'll try to keep it till 1 o'clock in the night, approximately. That's the target. Till that, whatever we can cover out of this, that's great. Okay. So let's create a project. So we'll say yarn create read, and then we'll call our project React Learn. What should we call it? Let's be React Pro. Yes, that's a good name. Let's be React Pro, right? And let's say this is React. This is let's be React Pro, right? That's our project name. Let's quickly install the dependencies. I expect you guys to know a little bit basics of React in order to learn all of these things. Make sure tut is interview oriented as well. Sure, Vandit. I will be making sure this is interview oriented. Mostly in React interviews, the questions are quite simple, bro. Like if you're just starting out, the questions are not very difficult. I'll be definitely explaining what sort of questions I have been asked in my interview. I have given a lot of them. So I'll tell you a few of the questions which I was asked. Why not doing a stream in the morning time? Because in the morning time I have the job, bro. I have to do the work there, right? So if I'll be streaming, then who will be doing the work there? Think of it, right? Why did you delete part 1? Part 1, I haven't deleted. I will be covering all of them. Anmol, do you want part 1? I can make it live. There's still there. If you think that those basics are required, I can make it live. I'll make it live. Don't worry. I'll be making it live after this stream, part 1 as well. Okay. So let's get started. Let's not waste any more time. So here we have our project over here, and let's go to app.tsx and remove everything which we don't need. What do we don't need? We don't need this. We don't need this. I think we don't need any of these things, and we don't need this as well. So we just need hello, and in the CSS file, I think index.css file, we don't need anything from here as well. So we have removed everything which they have given by default. So this is hello, and let's start our server. How will we start our server? It's very simple. We say yarn dev and the server starts. There you go. We have 5173. There we have your server. Could you make a visible comment section on screen a bit smaller? Oh, you want the comment section to be smaller? Sure. Ah, this is too large. That's yeah, you are correct. This is too big. Is this fine? Should I make it bigger or larger or smaller? How should that be? Or should I remove the comment section? You guys just tell me, okay? How do you want this to be? Ah, what should I do with the comment section? Should I remove it? Yes, no. Should I remove it? Yes, no. Start a poll. Should I remove the comment section? Uh, Question mark. Okay. So just tell me in the poll. Should I remove it? Great. I did not receive any poll. Please, yes. Any yes? I don't think we need it. Exactly. So let's remove it. This comment section is stupid and we don't need it. So let's not have it. Great. So now we are pretty good. Okay. So we have a basic React application in front of us, which is over here. Let me actually, oh yeah, which is over here, and we have a hello written, just very simple hello. So let's go with the first hook which we have, which is use state hook. So in a component, I think most of you know this, but let's listen just for the sake that I've explained this. Use state is a hook to simply understand, let's say, name and set name, right? What use state is doing is use state returns a array of two things. First is your state, second is a function, and whenever you call that function, your entire component get refreshed. That's all what use state does, right? So if I render this over here, and if I say h1 and name, right, and if I go over here and I just say button, change name, right, what use state is doing is when I click on click, right, we'll be going with all the hooks. So all of you guys who are there, just be there, okay? And this is another name. Why have I named this? I don't know. So this is a little unhappy with me because that we have to set some default thing. Okay, so this use state hook accepts a default state. What do you want the value to be by default? So in our case, by default, the value is empty. And if you click this, now you call this function, and what happens when you call this function is this entire function gets called internally by React again. So that internal like internally recalling, I think one of you just don't like, still wants the chat to be there. That's kind of okay. So here what we can do is we can so if we click change name, you can see this is the another name. So it was empty before and we have changed this. So this is how use state works. I think most of you already know. So let's go to the next hook, which is going to be interesting. What is the next in the list? So we have use effect in next in the list. So let's discuss use effect. I guess the definition of use effect comes in interview a lot. Even I have asked a lot of a lot of beginners in React does not totally understand use effect. So I'll be explaining to you right now. So use effect is a hook, which is very simple. So use effect, you pass two things. You pass a function, and you pass an array. So what is that array? Array is basically, it's known as the dependency of this use effect. So dependency is very simple. Whenever something changes which is there in this array, this gets called, right? So whenever something changes which you pass in this array, this gets called. Any state, if it is a state, if that state changes, this gets called. But remember, if this is empty, right? If this is empty, if this like nothing in this array, this is empty, right? This will be getting called only once in the beginning. So if I log and I say this is called, and if I just show you the terminal console, right? So you will see this is called, and this is called only for once. This works like component did mount in a class-based React component. If you know how class-based React component works, this is how it works. So this is like component did mount, like it only gets called once when the component mounts, when your component get visible, right? It only gets called once. Always remember this. So this is what use effect is, and I will tell you how does that work. So if I just say const a set a and then use state 1, and if I pass this a over here, right, and if I just change this a, whenever I'll change this a, this particular first parameter, which is the function, will be called. I'll just show you this working, right? So if I just go to button and on click, right, and right, and I'll do set a plus 1. I'll just from what I have taught right now, like, I'll just show you one of the interview questions which was asked just from the things which I have done right now. Okay, so if I click, you can see whenever I click this, there is this function called this. So this is called is being logged over here. So whenever this dependency changes, use effect is called again and again. Do you still need to familiarize ourselves with class-based component? No, bro. Class-based component is no more required. Nobody uses class-based component anymore, I guess. It's just a legacy system. Most of the companies are trying to avoid it. They don't write class-based component anymore. Even React doesn't write class-based component anymore. Fun fact. Okay, so it's okay if you don't know that. Next, we have one state. So okay, I'll just tell you one interview question which was asked from me. Okay, so and you guys will tell me how do I solve it. So there is this placeholder API, something like that. So it's called JSON placeholder. Yes. So they usually use this particular API, and then what they will tell you is, so there is this API called posts, I think, right? And then if you go to post/1, right? So they usually tell that how will, like, there is a button, right? There's a button, there's a counter like A, and it changes every time from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 and so on. How will you fetch a new post for every counter, right? How will you do that? So that's the question. Okay, so this is one of the question asked in a real interview to me while I was doing my internships, beginning internships. Okay, so we'll try to solve this question right away, right now. It is very, very simple. All of you guys who have a little bit experience working this will know the answer. So let's create a rest where we'll be storing our result. And for now, just for now, and let's create an interface for this pretty quickly. So what is the data over here? It's user ID title. So this is the user data or post data, I guess, right? And then it has an user ID which is of type number. It has a ID which is of type number. It has a title of type string, and it has a body of type string. Okay, so now the question was, it's very interesting, right? There's like a lot of different ways to solve this, but this is what the interviewer wanted from me. So he said create a state which has an initial value 1, and when you click a button, it is a counter. So it goes from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 and so on. And now what you need to do is you need to fetch from this particular API and show it on the screen, whatever that is, show it on the screen. And it should be like whatever, like if I'm passing 1 over here, it should be 1, then 2, and then 3, and then 4, and then so on. Okay, so how will you do this? It's pretty simple. So one thing about use effect, you cannot use directly an async over here. So you cannot do this. All of you guys, you cannot do this. You cannot have an async ASYNC, right? So yeah, you cannot have an async use effect function. Okay, so what's the solution? You create another function over here. So you can say fetch whatever, fetch post, right? And you can do this fetch inside use effect that changes on every counter update. Yes, correct. What name you're, I don't know what is your actual name, but whatever, what name, that is exactly what we're going to do. So what you can do is you can say, you can set some parameters, so like some values like post ID or something like that. So and this will be a number, right? And then what you can do is you can make this async. So you can make this async, and then what you can do is you can say whenever and then here you can fetch the value. So typically if I'll do it in the interview, I'll place try catch and all, but right now I'll not be doing any of those. So right now what I'll do is I'll directly fetch it. So how will I do it? It's a response is equal to fetch, and then what you can do is you can pass like what you don't need to pass anything. You just can pass like whatever that URL is, and then I just place this over here, and instead of 1, I'll be writing post ID, right? And then I get an res, and then I'll be placing an await over here, and then I'll say JSON over here, and I'll say await over here, then I'll say res.json over here. So this will be a JSON. And now what we can do is we can set the res from here. So we can say set res JSON. Of course, we have forget to use like use state over here. So this will be an empty array, and otherwise it would be an array of what? Post data, right? It will be an array of post data. So here we are setting it directly, and now this is given error because we are not calling fetch post. So we'll say fetch post and then a. So all of you, I would explain this code right now. Okay, listen to me carefully. So what we are doing over here is we have defined a function called fetch posts, which takes a post ID inside the use effect. Remember, you cannot directly use an async over here. Again, always create this inside. If you'll be creating this outside, there will be one error which I'll be explaining in a while, but it should be inside, right? And then you should have like fetch, and then whenever a changes, this gets called, and you call a with the new a value, whatever a is, and then you have the rest, right? Array of post data, yes, array of post data. Post data, this is what we have created, this is what we're going to get. This response will be an array of post data. So, oh, this is not array. You are correct, you are correct. No, 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 I'm sorry, this is not an array of post data. This is exactly only post data. Okay, so this is only post data, and by default this is null. Okay, we can leave this empty, that's undefined, that's kind of okay. Okay, it's interface, yeah, it's an interface which we have defined over here. So we have rest, right? And we can show it this directly over here. Might be like inside this, we can say code, and we can say json.stringify, and then we can say rest, right? And I guess this will work. I hope so. Yeah, this works. So by default we are at 1. So if you see, by default the ID was 1, so it is fetching for 1. So when we change this, see, it is fetching for 2, and when we change this again, this is fetching for 3, and when we change this again, this is fetching for 4. And this was one of the questions which was asked from me during an interview. So this is how you use state with use effect. I think we have already covered 2 hooks. So all of you guys who are watching, it's incredible, we have already cleared 2 hooks, and let's continue. So I think the, like, if you guys like, if the voting will go below 50%, the chat will be back on the screen. Okay, so that's one thing. Okay, so then we are done with what are we done with? We are done with use state, we are done with use state, and let's go to use callback. One of the most confusing hook for like if you are beginning with React, but you don't need to be confused, it's very simple. Okay, trust me, it's very simple once you understand this a little bit better. So let's create 2 different states right now. All of you guys who are watching, I would like you to be focusing right now. Can we do one more example? Can we do one more example of use effect with it? You want one more example of use effect, or you want one more example of use state? What do you want? Was use effect clear for all of you guys who are watching? Like crystal clear, like you guys know what use effect does, right? Great. So if you guys know what use effect does, let's go ahead. So we'll be doing what we'll be doing, we'll be covering use callback next. And what is use callback? Let's see what do we want to do. Let's say we have a state, right? We have a state again called a and set a, right? And we are using this called use state, right? Let's first, oh, you need use effect. What name? Are you clear with use effect? Everybody clear with use effect? I hope so, everybody is clear with use effect. Okay, let's move ahead. So we have a and set a, and we have a use state, right? And then let's set the default value to 1 over here. And like, for example, let's say the value of like what should we do? Let's say, let's print the value of a right now over here, right? Hey Nikhil, what's up? So yes, I mean, you guys are saying yes, but yes what? Like, it is clear yes, or you want another example yes? What is the yes? Okay, so we have 1 over here. Let's make it a little bit smaller so that yeah. So we have a 1 by default over here. Let's see what problem is use callback solving, right? Let's see what problem. So in definition, right, when someone says what is use callback, what will you say? It's very simple. Seems like you have slow the live chat, bro. Is it? No, it is not slow, bro. One more example of use effect. Okay, you want one more example of use effect. Okay, let's do one more example of use effect. Let's quickly do one more example of use effect. So let's say you have 2 numbers, right? You have a as 1 number, right? And let's call it used state. By default, let's say the value is 0. Okay, and you have b, which is some other let's quickly go and paste this over here. Sorry, What am I doing? Okay, let's do. So let's replace this by b, and let's replace this by not a, replace this by b, and then make it 0. Okay, so we have two states over here, and let's say we have two inputs, right? So we have input, so the value is value a, right, value a, and value b, right? So भाई कल के लाइव में क्या हुआ था, ended abruptly. So Yash bhai, what happened was my internet went away. So I'm using like this 5G phone I was connected to, and then this 5G phone just, what do you say, Jio का connection चला गया भाई, and then I got a message, your 1.5 GB data is ended. And then I tried to connect it to the fiber. My fiber was also disconnected. So all bad luck was there to yesterday, and we couldn't do anything. Okay, so let's do let's do the value a and on change. I guess you guys know this, right? How to create control input. If anybody wants any definition of how to create control input, I'll be doing right now. Just say, if you guys are already clear, will not do it. So we'll say parse int, and we'll do ev.target.value. How many of you understand this value on change? Yes, no. If there will be any no, I'll be explaining. If there will be no, like you understand, you already know what this is, great, then we'll be going ahead. Okay, so you will have to type if you want to learn. Okay, so we have a value and we have an on change function. So whenever the value changes, we have on change function. Superb, no worries. And we have to change over here, so instead of set a, it will be set b, and yeah, good. And here instead of a, it will be b. So let's say whenever I change the value, no matter what, what am I doing, bro? Whenever I change because empty, okay, this issue, because empty cannot be passed. If ev.target.value is not equal to empty, then do this, then do this okay, great. So we have to do the same thing over here as well. Paste this over here, go over here, there you go. Okay, so now now if I write 34 or whatever, I want these two guys to be automatically added, right? Automatically added and like visible below this. Like how do I do it without even clicking a button? I have no button. I want whenever I start, even if I start typing, they should add and show over here. How do I do it? So it's very simple. Let's create like a rest state which will be storing our result, right? Let's say use state, right? Right. And then what do I want? Whenever a or b changes, I want to add them and set to rest, right? Whenever a and b changes, no. Oh, so code Mashur did not understood this on change, right? That's what you mean, code Mashur, right? So what we can do over here is we can write use effect, and then we can say whenever, again, listen to this very carefully, right? Whenever a or b changes, what do we want to do? Whenever a or b changes, I want to set rest a plus b, right? Whenever something changes out of this, the result will be set. Whenever a or b, the value of a or b is changed, we want to set the rest to the like addition, right? Use effect can also do, right? Use effect, yes, that's what we are using. Use effect, see, use effect, that's exactly what we are using, right? And then we can show the result over in h1 over here, and we can say rs, right? Great. So whenever I type anything, you can see the sum of both of them will be immediately visible below this number. So that's another example of use effect and use effect and use state, I guess, both of them. So this, if this example was clear, we'll be moving ahead. Just say this is clear, so we'll be moving ahead. Otherwise we will should we move ahead? Yes, no? 5 seconds, I'll be counting. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's move ahead. Okay, so let's move ahead. So what we'll do is we will be so this is how use state and use effect works. Let's get rid of everything now, and let's do oh, everything is clear, great. So we have this clear. Now let's go to let's increase the difficulty a little bit. Like let's not directly jump into the use callback. let's cover some simpler one first, and then let's slowly ramp up the ladder. Okay, so let's first learn what is use ref. How do you use this? Why do you even need that? Okay, so Nikhil, thank you, Nikhil. Great explanation. Thanks a lot. That means a lot to me. Okay, so what we'll do is we will be let's understand the use ref. Okay, why do you need use ref? Why do you even care about use ref? So use ref is very simple, right? It's like use effect. I guess you have a stream delay. I have a stream delay. Literally, I have a stream delay. Wait, I'll change my network. I'll just change it from this to the 5G network, but this network is a little bit risky for obvious reasons. Uh, I guess this will be a little bit better. Yeah. Is it better? Okay, zero drop frame zero. Okay. I think now there is no frame drops. Everything is cool. Everything is speed out. Now the team, just one more thing, one more time in short. Oh yes, you need yes, really? Okay. Is it now I think the stream issue should be fixed, right? Now I think it should be real time, most probably. Yeah. Okay. So let's move ahead. Let's quickly go ahead and let's learn now the use ref hook. Okay, so use ref hook is very simple. It's like use state hook, but a little bit different. You can store elements as a reference in use ref, right? So how would you use this? For example, let's say you have created a canvas, right? I'll just tell you a problem. You cannot solve that problem without use ref, right? So let's say you have a canvas, right, bro? Just off topic, your review about geofiber. It's good. It's good. Yeah, it's good. Geofiber is good. I just hate the 5G. 5G network in this iPhone. I hate 5G, bro. Not like I love 5G, but the way it is there in India, it is not very reliable. It goes on and off and on anytime. So yeah. So I have a question, right? So, okay, what am I doing? Okay, so let's say we have this canvas, right? How will you solve this? Just tell me no. Like, just tell me this, okay? How will you solve this? Consider we have this we have this canvas, right? And you want to get the context of this canvas. How will you get it? There's no way to get it, right? So if you must be like, okay, how do we do it? Like, should we do like this? Should we do like ID and then canvas, and then should we do like go over here and use effect, and then like should you do this? Is this a good way? No, this is not a good way. This is not how you do it in React. This is not how you do it in React. In React, for anything like this, where you have an ID and you want to store it in ref, like you want to get a reference to that, you use ref, right? So I can use this canvas ref, right? And then I can use ref, right? And then here you can specify a type of this ref. For us, the type of this ref is HTML canvas element. By default, it is null, so we'll be defining null by default. And then what we can do is we can every element, no matter what you use in React, will have a ref property, right? In the ref property, you can simply give any ref element. So whatever you create in use ref, you can directly pass over here, and you will be having a reference to the canvas. Surprisingly, you will be having a reference to the canvas. What are you talking about? I'll just explain. Okay, so if I just build a use effect and I just do empty dependency, that means it will only run for the first time when the component mounts. Already explained this. How will you get the context out of that use ref, right? So the value you get, like the canvas you get, is by using canvas is equal to canvas ref dot current. So remember, it does not directly store the value. It has a property called current inside it, inside which the property is stored. All of you guys, I would like to consider this, right? Consider this very, very carefully. So there is a property called dot current, which has the property whichever we are storing. Hey Abdul, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Really? Okay. So it's good night over here. I don't know in which country you are, but yeah, good morning if there is good morning. So yeah. So So it is canvas, right? So canvas, and this is how you take, and let's say you when you get the context, you'll say if the canvas exists, the context is canvas dot get context. You can see everything we are getting, right? All the attributes and whatever. See, so this is how you use the ref. Ref is used very simply to reference anything. The ref could even be used to store values of variables, right? So you can store anything on ref, right? So that's amazing, right? So you can do that, and that's how you use ref, right? So ref is not only used for referencing material, it could only be also be used for storing values. I'll show how, but I wouldn't recommend to do to use ref for that particular purpose, but you can use it that way as well, right? Okay, so this is use ref, and if you go hover, use ref returns a mutable ref object whose dot current property is initialized to pass argument, which is the initial value. The return object will be persist for full lifetime of the component, right? It will persist. So that's great. Okay, so we have already done this, and I guess that's pretty much it. So why use ref? Let's answer this question. Why do we even need use ref, right? The problem is, imagine you have declared a variable, right? So you have a variable test, which is document dot get element by id, right? And then I say canvas or whatever element you have. Let's say if you do this instead of this, right? The problem is this will be recreated every time, because this function internally React is calling again and again whenever your component, like there is any state change, this entire function is called again and again and again, and you don't want get element by id, the instance of this variable, to be growing and growing and growing. So you just, like, creating a ref maintains a single instance of that particular stuff throughout the lifetime of your component. If that is clear, we'll be moving ahead, or we'll have one more example. Whatever you guys say. What should we move ahead? Should we have one more example? Yes, no. Yes, no. Fast in the chat. Fast, 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 guys. Yes, no. Should we have one more example, or should we move ahead? Should we have one more example? Should we move ahead? Is the three hooks clear? Use effect, use state, and use ref. One example, one more example. Sure, we'll have one more example. Let's take a wrong example. You shouldn't do something like this, but this will make you, like, this will help you to understand user very, very carefully. Okay, so okay, so what we can do is very simple. So oh, +1, +1. So everybody wants one more example. Sure, use state. One more. Okay, one more. Sure, great. So let's have one more. The it's 55%. If it goes below 50%, we'll have the chat back. Okay, so yeah, it is 55%. I just noticed. Okay, so next thing what we'll do is what should we do? We will be yeah. So let's create a ref, and let's create a val1. You should never use ref like this, by the way. So I'll call it use ref, and I'll store the value 1 over here. So val2, and I'll just store it like this, right? Val1 dot current. Okay, great. And if I just say a button, right? And if I say remove the poll, should I remove the poll? It's 52%. Asif. All of you guys who want the chat and does not want the chat. See, there's a fight between all of you, like both of you. Let's see who wins. We'll keep the poll for 5 more minutes, and then we'll remove it. Okay. So add one, right? So that's why. Okay. Should we hide the chat? Should we hide the chat? Should we hide the chat? We have 23 votes so far, and 48% says it's 52. Remove the poll. I guess the vote is going in favor of add back, as new people might consider it to be a live chat. Okay. I guess now it is live chat. Okay. We'll think about live chat in a while. Let's make the another example, and then we'll end the poll. Okay. So let's end the poll. End poll. Can we? Yeah. There you go. So ended the poll. Okay. So we have a value.current, and we have add one, right? So now what we can do is we can say on click. A very interesting thing I'll do. All of you guys watch this very carefully. What I'll do is I'll do val.current plus equal to 1. I want you guys to answer. What will happen if I click add one? What will happen if I click add one? Any answers? What will happen if I click add one? What will happen if I click add one? So let's click. Nothing happens, right? Why? Nothing happens. Why? Because it is useref doesn't help you to like re-render your useref doesn't help you to like re-render your component. It only helps you to store an instance of this, right? It doesn't re-render your component. Always remember, right? So useref doesn't re-render your component. It only stores a reference of something. So let's say if you want to have a variable which stores some value and you don't want that to be again and again and again reconstructed, you can use something called something like uh, something like useref. I hope so. This example taught you what you can do with useref. Okay, so let's go ahead. Was useref clear in this? What I tried to explain. So basically, it remembers the value. Exactly, it remembers the value. It remembers the value, and it only maintains one instance. Vandit. That's the difference. A normal variable will also do the same, but it will always forget what was the previously set when you refresh the component, right? But to increase the value, we'll have to use useState. Yes, if you want to mutate the state, you have to use useState, right? Great. Okay, let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of all of those, and we'll go over here. We'll go over here, and there we go. We are back again, and then we'll be covering the next hook. How many of you are excited for the next hook? Perfect. Okay, let's go for the next hook. Next hook is we have covered what we have covered. We have covered useref. Let's target on use memo. No, we'll be covering first use context, and then because these two are very highly like related, use callback and use memo. So we'll be covering both of them together. So let's start use context. Okay. So for example, all of you guys watch very carefully, right? Watch very carefully. I'll be constructing one another component over here, and let's call it test component, right? And or like in a real world scenario, you'll have it in a different file. So let's have it in a different file. Let's say my another component .tsx, and then let's have, hey Nikhil, yes, we guys are learning. You guys, whenever you guys get a job, just message me. Okay, that will be the most amazing day of my life. If you'll message me that you got an internship, you got a job, that will be amazing. Bro, you are mind sharing it. Bro, your Instagram, mind sharing it? No, bro, not at all. Just this is my Instagram. Whenever you guys get a job or an internship, just message me there. Okay. Okay, great. So the next thing what we'll do is we will be creating this my another component. So we'll say my another component, and will the type will be react.fc, and we'll have a very simple component like this. We'll return a div, and we'll say export default, not like that. We'll say export default and my another component. Okay, great. So we have a normal component over here. So we'll call it like, let's write something inside this. We'll be writing my another component. Great. Why am I doing this? I shouldn't do this. This is right, right? So this is another component, and we'll be rendering this inside this first component, right? So we'll say my another component, right? And for example, okay, so for example, all of you guys, I want you to just imagine this, right? This is not just one level down. This is 3 level down or 10 level down. So there is one more component inside this. There is like 10 different layers, right, to this. Now, what you generally do to pass a variable from a parent component to a child component, right? If you guys know the basics of React, what you do is you pass it as a prop, right? So you say, okay, so we have a prop. Okay, so we have a prop. Let's create a prop. So let's create an interface, my another component props, and let's say the value, some value which is a number, and you just go over here. I think so far you guys must be familiar with this. How do you do this in TypeScript, right? So you just do like, we have a val, and you just show the val over here. So and you just do val, right? So we are not passing anything, and that's an error. So we'll say val, and then we'll say 3. Okay. So for passing, I don't know if you remember me, like I have been watching your stream like from long time, and still, of course, Yash, I definitely remember you from the days when I was doing those streams. What do you call those project streams? I was making those what do you call all those video manipulation streams, right? You were there on all those streams, I remember. Okay, so we are passing this 3, but for example, let's say this was not here, right? So there was another component below this, there was another component below this, and then you'll have to drill the prop. So you have to like pass the prop from one parent to then child, then from that child to its child, and then from that child to its child, which is a very bad practice. Why it is bad practice? This bad practice is known as prop drilling, because if you change anything in between this entire layer, the entire top layer is disrupted, right? So it's gone. Now you have to like fix something there and here, and it's very bad, right? It's a bad practice. You should not do prop drilling. So how to fix this? You can fix this by using something called use context. Use context is like, it helps you to maintain a single value, you propagate a value throughout your entire component tree. So let's understand this. How does it work? So first of all, what you do is you create a context. So you say, so let's say const my value context. You can name this anything, right? So I'll call it my value context, and I'll say create context, right? So here I have created a context, right? So this context accepts a default value. For example, I'm giving this 0 as a default value, right? And then what do I do is, whatever inside whatever component tree you want all of like that value to be available, what you will do is you will just do my value component dot provider, I guess, dot provider. That's how you do it, right? What am I doing wrong? This is how you used to do it, right? Dot, oh, this is, no, this is not where we want to construct it. We want to construct it over here. So it is constructed in the parent. So we'll say const context, or like my value context. Context is going to use context, right? And then what we want to do give is the default value, which is 0 in our case. Does not use context, just create context, right? Okay. And then we have this. So this is angry at us because we have we haven't used this. So let's use this. So what we can call it over here is, we can say my value context dot provider, and then you can pass your entire component inside this. Now where is the part 1, bro? I'll be making the part 1 live after this video. So the part 1 will be there. I don't know who will watch it, but I'll make it live, no worries. Okay. So we have this, and now it is throwing an error at us because this wants a value, right? So value, you can create a state over here. You can give it value whatever you wish. It's completely up to you. So I create value called, like, let's say I create a state called value, and I set value and use state and then 0, right? So if I pass value over here, whatever value you are passing will be passed all around, like all the component, like wherever you pass. So for example, let's say you want to access this value, you don't want to pass it using prop. Okay. Oh, army build ho rahi hai, don't worry. Oh, that's great. We'll have a big army, I guess. All of you guys just yahi pe raho, like don't go anywhere, okay? And we'll be getting job. Like how the hell they are not giving us job? Okay, so we'll be doing a job stream. Just don't wish me, like in the end of all this, whatever I'm gonna teach, I'll give you a trick, I'll give you a way, and I can almost assure you that there will be a 95 to 96% chance that you will be getting your first internship within 1 month of completing this. And I'm not telling whatever, like I have tried this method. Okay. So I'll be explaining that method at the end of this. There's not this stream, like this series, once we know all of the basics which you need to start an internship. If you're going to follow this, I'm pretty sure you'll get an internship in 1 month approximately. So, but for that, you'll have to stay. That's important, right? So, and it will only work when you know, at least at some degree, you know stuff, right? Then only all those tricks will work. And if you don't know, even if you get the internship or get the job, you would hate your job because you don't know the stuff, right? So, okay. So, for example, what we are doing over here, we created a context. We wrapped our whatever component or whatever, like the parent with this my value context dot provider. So dot provider is over here. And then you pass some initial value like value, right? And then you pass it inside the child. So how do you use this? You use this like, so first of all, you'll have to export the context. So you just say export over here, export const my value context, and then you just say const value is equal to use context. You use context, and then you say my value context, whatever, right? So now this value is same as whatever you have passed over here. Let's remove this. Now we don't need this. Okay, let's go inside this. Let's remove this, whatever. Let's remove this. Let's remove this. Let's remove this, let's remove this, let's remove this, let's remove this. Yeah. So great. So we have, so in this example, because I don't want to create 30 different components, but what I would like to tell you is, even if you have like 30 level deep, 30 level deep, you don't have to pass from parent to child to its child to its child. You don't have to do that. Wherever you want that value, wherever, like how, no matter how deep in the componentry, you simply call use context and pass that context which you have exported from the parent, and you get immediately the value, right? So I would show you what you can do with this, right? So if I just say set state, sorry, if you have a button and you say increase value, right? And if I just do on click, right? And if I just do set value, and if I take the value what was existing and I say +1, what you will see very amazingly is I would uh, I would increase the value. So this is all reactive. So this is all reactive. So whenever you change the value, the entire componentry will refresh. That's quite amazing, right? Now you guys must be having a question. You guys should have a question. Okay, but how do I set the value of this context from the children, right? A very legit question, right? How do I set the value of that context from the children, right? You are doing it from here, I get it, but how do I do it from here? You can do it, bro. It's very simple. You pass both of these as a value to this. So you can do that as well. I'll just show you how you can do that. So you can pass this as value comma set value. First of all, this will throw an error because the type of this is not that. So first of all, we'll have value as 0. So the default value and set value will be a function. So which will be taking a number in it, which will be a number, and this will return nothing void. Okay. What do you mean? What do you mean? So we'll say this will be null by default. So we'll have to create a type. So type my value context is equal to two things. First is a number. Second is a function which is like void, which takes a number over here, which is a number, and then you can say the type of, so you can set a type of the context, something like this. So you can pass a greater than less than sign over here, and you can pass a value to all of you guys who are not getting what I'm doing over here, TypeScript. I would recommend go to my TypeScript stream and see and watch how what have I taught over there. And I think I have explained there what I'm doing right now. So 0 as a default value, and this could be null. Can I make it null? So this or undefined. So even if I don't define that, it's gonna fine now. I can say this as undefined. What do you mean? I can't say undefined. Undefined type this or undefined. Come on, what do you mean? This could be undefined, right? Okay. We'll have to create another type over here. Type set function. I just hate this set function, and then we have to paste this over here, and then you can say this is either set function or undefined. So undefined or set function. So now this is completely valid, and now you can say this. So now over here, what you can tell is you can get two things. You can get the value as well and set value as well. So both of them is available over here. You can even modify the value from the child. So you can say from child, and then I can say on click. If this is confusing, please let me know, bro. I know I'm explaining this a little bit bad, but I can explain this better. Hold on, let me complete this and then I'll explain this better. Okay, so set value, if set value exists. So yeah, what do you mean? What do you mean? This is not question mark, this is and. Okay, so what am I doing over here? Let me explain. Okay, so watch out very carefully. All of you guys who are watching, watch out very carefully. I'm passing both of them, value and set value, as a value to this entire context. So wherever you will be saying use context, you'll be getting both value and set value. That's what exactly we did over here. So wherever you use context, you'll be getting value and set value both. And then what you can do is you can, because now what have I done over here? Why is and is there? Because as you can see, this is undefined or set value, right? So this could be undefined. So I'm just checking this is not undefined. Very simple null check. So if this is not defined, what I'm setting the value is whatever the default value is +1. So I can do it from child and I can do it from parent. So you see, we have created a universal state which works from the child, and the parent. If use context is clear, we'll be moving to the next one. If not, we'll have another example. Just say yes or no in the chat. Fast. Can you guys just say an yes or no in the chat, please? Yes, no, use context was clear or was it confusing? Use context was clear or was it confusing? Can we have an answer? Use context was clear or was it confusing? Come on, fast. Clear. Okay, Nikhil said clear. All of or like all of the other people. Oh, plus one. Okay. So for Gotham also it is clear. Great. I thought I did a very bad job in explaining use context, but you guys are telling that you understood. That's great. So what we'll do is we'll get rid of all the components. Okay. Great. So we are back at clear, and now we'll be covering the two of the most controversial, not controversial, but two of the most um, like least understood hooks, which is use callback and use memo. Okay. So all of you guys who are here, welcome, and let's learn use callback and use memo. So first of all, let's learn use memo. Okay. Use memo is very simple. Use memo is very simple. For example, let's say we have a function, right? So we have a function. So we have some function which is very large. For example, so array bro, I mean once more. Gotham once more. Okay. You mean once more. I thought you are agreeing to Nikhil, which is true. Okay. So I'll have to go back now. So I have to click U bunch of times. Yeah. Okay. So what is happening over here in use context? I'm explaining it again. Oh wait. Gotham just should I explain Gotham or should I not? Like yes or no? Gotham just deleted his message. So just interested whether he wants to learn use context again or should we move ahead? Yes or no? Come on. Come on, just I want to answer. No answer, then we'll move ahead. I guess Gotham understood. Suddenly he realized that I am knowing everything. So we'll okay, explain it. Okay. So it's very simple, Gotham. Context is what? Context is like uh, you want to so context, like how do you create a context? That there's a function called create context which helps you to create context, and you can pass any default value over here, right? So you can pass any default value over here. So for example, for me, I have passed an array. First is 0, second is undefined, and you can pass the type of value over here as like this as a generics, right? So this my value context, this is of like a number. The first value should be a number, bro, and फेच ओके मेरे पास एक इमेज स्लाइडर है और स्लाइड करने पर वो इमेज फेच करके शो करना है जिसके वजह से इमेज कुछ टाइम लोड में किस पॉसिबल के वजह के जे क्या इमेज कुछ टाइम कर ब्रो दिस लाइव चैट इज स्लो आई एम टेलिंग यू or am I only one the facing? Is the live chat slow? Like let's just like please tell me, is the chat slow for everyone? So tips and tricks is asking a question. He's asking, bro, am एक चीज पूछनी थी मेरे पास एक इमेज स्लाइडर है, so he has an image slider और स्लाइडर करने पर वो इमेज फेच करके शो करता है. So when you move the slider it shows an image. Okay, so bro, I'm not understanding all of like whatever you have written last two lines. If you could ask it in a like in a better way, we can do it. Okay, so yes, I think my chat is going weird. I'll have to stream in less resolution from the future in the future, I guess. Yeah, I don't know how to solve it right now. I'll do like I'll fix it once I get over the stream. Let's continue the stream. We have to cover a lot of things. Okay. So okay, so we have a use context simply, sorry, create context, and we pass the type of this create context and the default value over here. Then what do you use like whatever the context is dot provider, and you wrap your entire parent inside that provider and you pass the value whatever value you want to pass down your children, right? Very simple. And then what you do is you just receive the value by using use context. There's two things. First is create context, and then is use context. So you, in use context, you pass whatever context you have created. So for example, I've exported this from here. So is use my value context. I'm passing that my value context over here, and I'm getting whatever value which I have passed over here as like as it is, right? So value inside value, and I'm using it as it is. So I hope so. This must be clear right now, right? Okay, great. Yeah, this chat is. I think I should stream in less resolution. I'm streaming in 4K or like extremely high resolution for some reason. I have to like fix that. Okay, so hmm, let's move ahead. Let's move one step ahead. I don't know, VITX. Okay, and then let's move. Then now we'll be covering use context, use memo. So all of you guys who are watching will be covering use memo now. So let's see how does use memo works. Pretty simple. So what do we call is we create a memo. So memo is basically when you want to cache a value inside like inside some function. So let's say you have a function, right? So you have a function called calculate something, right? So or something like you have a function, right? And it does something very heavy. So it does something very heavy. For example, in our case, it does like it fetches something. For example, let's say you have a value, right? So you have a value and you have a set value, and what I say is use state. My internet sucks, bro. I guess I need to watch it again after the stream ends. Oh, that's really sad. Why is my internet also sucks? Yes, I guess internet is sometimes it sucks. Mostly it's okay. Okay. So let's say we have a zero and I have a question, right? So for example, let's say if I have a function, right? Which kind of like what do I say? Which does some very heavy task, right? For example, let's say if I have this value and I just say const test, I have this value test and I have it 0, and then what I do is I just do like let I is equal to 0, right? And I less than some very large number like this one, and I plus plus, right? And then I just say test plus equal to I. So what I'm doing is I'm just increasing the value of test by that, like for like these many times, which is a lot of times, right? Why is the test so angry? Okay, so now and then I print the test, right? So then I print the test. Okay, so like this is slow, right? This will be slow because your component will take a very like, let's say if I just increase the numbers like couple of more times, and then yeah, you can see this is taking a lot of time, right? So for example, we have a state, over here, right? Dipanshu, we are covering React today, Dipanshu, and so we have a and set a, and I'll be explaining why we need use memo first. Then think it will make more sense. So we have one over here, we have a button over here, right? So increase a, right? So and then let's print the value of a. So let's in an h1 let's print the value of a, and then what will, so let me write this program and then it will make sense, right? So let me write this very quickly. So what I'll do is I'll just say set a plus 1, right? So you see this program, right? What we are doing over here is we are having a value, a very large value, which we are computing over here with this some program, like a for loop, which is very extremely large for loop. And then what we are doing is we are having a button. So what do we say? Why is this button there? Increase value, increase a. What is increase a? Why do we have two buttons? Okay, so we have increase a, right? So we have increase a. Whenever we increase a, so it takes a very long time to increase a, because whenever like this function re-renders, this operation takes a lot of time. See, when I click, I have left the and then this 3 increases after a very long time, right? How do you solve this? The question is, how do you solve this? How can you solve this? How can you make this immediate, like almost immediate, right? How can you do this? There's the question, right? How will you do this? So the answer is, how do you do this is very simple. you can use something called use memo, which memorize, which memo, what is that word called, memoize, memoization. So it memorize your text. So I'll just show you how does this happen. So you can take this entire thing inside some function. So you can say const test is equal to use memo, right? And then right, and then cool, you, are you planning on converting async react like suspense, lazy, use transition, defer value? Might be, it depends, Dipanshu, if we have that much time, do we reach to that point? Memoization karenge, exactly, Gautam, ekdam correct, what you are absolutely correct. So now what we can do is we can return this test, and this accepts a second parameter. What this second parameter does, I'll be explaining in a while. But use memo returns the value, it caches the value, and use callback caches the function. That's the biggest difference. Use callback caches the function, use memo caches the value. Always remember that, okay, all of you guys who are watching. So here what will happen is, unless something in this changes, this will not run. So whatever the value was there, it will be there, and it wouldn't run this, right? So it will memorize this, right? So now if I refresh this example and I say increase a, you can see a is increasing very, very fastly. So there's no issue of increase like a being increased slowly, because this is only called once. So if use memo makes sense, say a yes, or I'll explain this in a much more better way. Just say yes if that makes sense. Use memo. For all of you guys who are watching, use memo makes sense. It helps you to cache a value which is very heavily computed, right? So that computation doesn't happen every time that your component re-renders. It helps you to cache your value. Does it make sense? Yes, no? If yes, then say yes. Does it make sense? Does it make sense? Yes or no? Yes or no? All of you guys who are watching, yes or no? Please give an answer, so that I know you guys understood and I could move ahead. Okay, so yes, clear. Okay, use memo is clear. Next thing is what we'll be moving to use callback. It's pretty simple, but it is used to cache a function. And why do you need a cache? Why do you even need to cache a function? We'll be definitely understanding why do you even need to cache a function. So let's see the problem first. Let's create the problem and then solve it using use memo or use callback, something like that. Okay, so use memo is clear. You understood the problem. When you are doing a very heavy job in your component body and you want to extract it into a function, and then then you don't want your entire rendering to be slow. Bro, my question is, there is any way to cache images from a third party site on component mount? Yes, bro. Yes, bro. Definitely there is. So you can use memo. Exactly. You can use memo, right? So you can use memo, or you can, so if you have to, so do you want the caching to happen within the session? Like, even if the refresh, there should be the images, or you want to only happen, like you want this only to happen when the component re-renders? Like, what do you want? Okay, so we'll get rid of this, and then we'll be creating the problem for use callback. So use callback is very simple. Use callback is used for caching what do you call a function? Okay, so let's see. So let's say you have what do you call, you have a state, right? So let's say a and set a. What's the difference between caching entire function versus function returned value? So I'll be explaining you. See, so this value test over here, right? This returns, like, this value test is whatever you have returned from this. So this is the first value function which you have passed. Whatever you have returned from this is this function, this test, right? But in the case of use callback, this returns the entire function, the cast function. So use callback returns you the function, so you have to call the test, and use memo returns you the value, which is the value, whatever the value your function is returning. Okay, make sense? Make sense? And what this dependency is, let's say you are computing this value based on something. So let's say there's some another state like b, and then you set b, for example, right? And then what you want to say is, you want to say use state, and then you want to say one, and then let's say you are computing this based on this. you want to say test plus one, right? So you would like this to basically like get renewed whenever the dependency changes, right? So what would you do is you would pass b over here, right? You would pass b over here. So whenever the b, or like this shouldn't be one, this should be b. So whenever b changes, this entire function will be recalled. So like this renewed, like basically. So yeah, I hope so. This is use memo, and this must be clear to all of you guys. So let's move ahead. I think tips and tricks is saying something within the session, because I need the cache them for the image slider. Okay, within the session, because I need to cache them. Bro, images you want to cache. Uh, does the local storage allows you to cache images? Not sure. I think it does. Bro, what you can do is I would recommend you write a service worker for that. And service worker, if you use a service worker, it will allow you to, no, you don't need a service worker. Hold on. So in the application, you get, hey, I'm not aware of this. What do you mean by aware of this? Like, are you not aware of use memo, or what are you not aware of? Okay, so let's get rid of this and vitx, and then what you can do is we can do this, and let's go to use callback. For all of you guys who are excited for use callback, let's get started. Okay, use callback is a little bit tricky, right? So for use callback, let's open the React Dev documentation. Use callback React Dev docs, because we would need to read the use callback documentation a little bit. Okay, so right, for example, this is a stupid example. Let's create our own example. Okay, so for example, let's say there is a state, right? So you have a state. Let's a is equal to something like, let a and set a. I missed the session and most of it has been covered. Bro, it is recorded, so no worries. You don't need to worry a lot. I mean, you can definitely watch it afterwards. Will be and just make sure I'll be posting the time. So mostly my stream will be every alternate day. Between, it will start somewhere in 9:30 or 10, something like that. So please be ready, all of you guys who really want to cover this entire stream. Please be ready at that time. Okay. So we have a state A and we have a state B, right? And we have set B, and then we have say use state, right? And then for a very similar reason, use callback is used for caching a function. For example, let's say we have a function called set A is equal to whatever, a function like this, which let's say computes a very heavy value. For example, for let I is equal to 0, I less than like a very large number, right? Something like this, and then I plus plus, and then it sets the value B, right? And then you can set the value B, or you can do whatever. Like, this is a very heavy function, right? Now uh, computing this, like I would like to explain this a little bit, like understand this, that like some function, computing this entire function will take a lot of time. Every time it will render, because every time this function is being re-registered, right? And let's say this function, you don't want this function to be re-registered every time when this component renders. You want this to be cached, so that this doesn't get every time re-registered, and your overall application becomes very slow. So what you can do is you can cache this entire function, right? So for example, let's say this set b, and this set, no, don't do this. It says set b, sorry, don't do this, set b, and just say like math.random, set something random, right, to set b. And then what we can do is we can say let I is equal to 0, and then not I, like j, and then we can say j plus equal to I, right? For example, this is a very heavy application, right? This is a very heavy, like a very heavy duty, like a very heavy function. It does a lot of things. You could have anything. You could have a network call over here. You could have something like very heavy calculation, or very heavy something like that. So so some function is going to take a lot of time, and it, like registering it again and again, will make your component really slow. So what's the solution now? So what you can do is you can cache this function. You can say, okay, I want to cache this function. I want to say use callback, right? And I want to pass that entire function inside this. And as because you have right, so, and then you can pass the dependency over here. So for example, oh wait, what's wrong? Okay. And then yeah, and then log b log j. Yeah. So now what will happen is, now like the core difference between use memo and use callback is, this is now like some function is now a function, not a value. For all of you guys who are watching, some function is now a function which is being cached. So now if I call this using a button, so button compute, right, and I'll say on click some, okay, watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out, okay. So we increase the value. Let's go to console and let's clear this out and it's just like this. You can see it takes a lot of time to basically get that done. I think, wait, hold on. We have a lot of zero. I think this is taking a lot of time. We need to get rid of few zeros from this. So yeah, 1 0, that's kind of enough. What, my another component is not defined? What do you mean? Oh, why are we doing this all this over here? This is stupidity. Why are we doing this over here? We should not do it over here. We should do it over here. Yeah, let's have it like this. Let's delete this. Let's import all the functions. Sorry, I'm doing this in the wrong place, all of these things. We don't need this. So not, we don't need any of this, and we would like to this to be inside this div, and then we would like to this get rid of these things. There you go. So this is okay, right? And then set value is, what do you mean by set value? We don't want this set value. We want to say some, okay. Okay, so now what we have done is we have created a very heavy function which creates a which does a very heavy job, and then we are calling this over here. So what happens when you do this? So when you say increase function, it takes not a lot of time. Hold on, I want to create this even more heavy. I want this to take a little while. So see, I've clicked and it takes a little bit of time. It takes a lot of time, bro. Why is it taking so much time? See, it is too slow. It is damn slow, bro. I've just put too many zeros. We'll have to do it 5174 73. So if we go there, right, it is logging, but it's taking a little bit of time. So if you say there is like a little bit of lag, right, and every time registering this function while you're while your re-rendering happens is a very heavy job. So this kind of like this what do you say? So if I just write plus b, you can write all your dependencies over here. So this will say plus b, right? And I would like print b over here. I know I'm explaining this really bad, but I'll try to do it in a better way. Hold on. Give me some time, okay? I have to build like the stage before actually explaining, okay? So let's say if I just click, right? So there is like this, right? If I click this, there is like another value, right? So this function is being recalled every time the b is changing, right? For example, b. So if I so bro, there's something wrong. Is my voice coming? Am I audible? Yes, no, maybe. Am I audible? Hello, am I audible? All of you guys who are watching, am I audible? Hello, hello, am I audible? Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? Yes, no. Can you guys hear me? Yes or no? Audible. Okay. I thought I suddenly lost my sound for some reason. Okay. So my example was really bad, bro. Let's see the example of this. So use callback. Use callback is a React hook that lets you cache a function by definition between re-renders, right? Uh, that's what it does. Very simple. So for example, let's see this, like in the product page, you have product ID, reference, and theme. So if this post function, this order detail, whatever this function is, this function needs to be constructed only once the product ID and reference changes, right? So product ID and reference changes. So then only this component is registered. If you go to see more examples, this is also one of the examples. It's simple. It's very simple. What you have to do is, this is used to cache functions. Use callback is used to cache functions, and it helps you to increase performance, right? Uh, I will have to create a separate video on use callback, I guess. Okay, I'll be posting a separate video on use callback. with much, I'll be coming up with good example. I think I'm not getting a good example to show over here for a use callback. So I'll be creating a separate function, separate video for use callback. Don't miss that. But let's move ahead right now. So yeah, so this one will be keeping it at a pending state, right? So we'll be covering this in a separate video, use callback. It's a little bit complicated, bro. I'm saying this is a little bit complicated, right? So, but all of like all rest of them, I think we are pretty clear. Let's learn how to create custom hooks now. Let's learn how to create custom hooks. How many of you like are excited for custom hooks? Let's learn custom hooks, right? So why do we use custom hooks? First thing, why do we even use custom hooks? We use custom hooks because when you have a lot of state, right? When you have lots of different states and you want to manage them, having like having like similar states in one, like a separate hook is very useful. For example, let's say I have like a I can create a separate hook. I can create a custom hook over here. For example, I can say use calculate, right? So this is a convention .ts. So .ts, yeah. So there's a convention that you use before creating a custom hook. So we say use calculate, right? And then what you do is you can use all the things which you have learned, like use state, use effect over here, right? And you could have like, you could take default values over here. So you can say, you can take like, for example, you can take val1 and you can take val2, right? And then you can say wherever the, so you can say um, so let val1, so for example val1 and val2, sorry, not like set val1, right? And I can say use state, so I can create over here, and then I can create two of these, right? And I can say replace this with 2, replace this with as well 2, and you have a use state, right? And let's keep the default value to whatever val1 and val2 we get, right? And then what we want to return is, we want to return the val1 plus val2, like for example, right? So val1 plus val2. I want to keep very simple examples so that you guys could understand. Instead of use calculate, let's say use add, and let's call it use add. This custom hook does a very simple job, which is adding stuff. Export default use add, right? And this add stuff, right? For example. So now the question is, okay, this is of type number. This is of type number, right? And then what? What is wrong with this? So okay, so val1. Okay, this is another. So we'll have to say default val1 and then default val2. Right? So and then I have to do like this. Okay, so for example, let's say we have two values, or both of them start with 0. So this starts with 0, and then this also starts with 0, and we want to export return, we want to return the val1, val2, and then there might be like for example, we might have a function called add. So so like this returns, okay. So we can say set vals, like value for both of them, and then we can create a function called set vals, and then we can accept two values. One is for a, which is for first one, which is number, and b, which is for second one, which is also a number, and we can set the value of this like this over here, and yeah, we can store it in one variable, I guess. I'm doing a very bad job confusing all of you guys, but don't worry, it will all make sense. Hold on, just like let me finish this custom hook and then it will all make sense, but you'll have to be till the time it starts making sense. Okay, so we have a set val and we have a res. Okay, for example, like this. So we have a value set, so we have created a custom hook over here, you call use add, and what this does is we have a simple use state, which like, and we have a set vals function. Set vals function accept two things, which is value a and value b, and whenever you call this function, it sets the value of this, and you kind of get the rest out, right? So you get the like sum of A and B, right? For example, let's say I want to use this use add function in the over here. So what I'll say is I'll say use add. So I have created my custom hook over here, which is called use add. And if you see what am I returning from use add? I'm returning the res and set vals. So I can get sorry, don't worry. So I'll say res and set vals, right? I'll be getting these two things, and then I can use this both of them over here, right? So I have res. What do you mean by res? So a number or a void. What do you mean by a number or a void? Yeah, but this is for sure a number, right? I mean, yeah. So why is it angry at me? Uh, is not React node. And then if I have a button over here, and if I say add, for example, and if I say on click, right? And I want to add two values. For example, I can say set vals. I can say a. I can pass 11 and I can pass 12, for example. Wait, what is wrong with this? We have something. So this is number, and this is we have this is set vals. This is correct, and then res is this value. This is correct, right? Why is it giving me error now? Unknown word. Strange. Let's do a simpler example. I think this will confuse all of you guys. Let's build a simpler a very useful and a simple hook. For example, let's delete this use add. Let's build a hook for fetching data. So let's say use fetch, right? So let's build a hook for use fetch, right? For fetching data. So what we can do is we can say const use fetch, right? For example, this by default you give an URL to this. So URL is string, right? And then you have a thing called loading. So you have a const, you have a loading state, which is set loading, which is by default false. So it is not loading by default, right? This is way better example than what I was using before. Okay. And then you have error. So you have error. So const error, set error, right? It will be use state. Use state. It will be either two things. It will be of type error. So then what we can do is we can say so we can fetch a data, right? So we can fetch a data. So we can say fetch data, right? And then right? And then yeah. So then what we can do is we can say this is an async function. Am I becoming too confusing? I guess I am. So then we can say we can get a response, and then we can say fetch, and we can take a URL, and for example this will only do get request. For example, like let's keep it very simple right now, and let's say this is await, and right, and before loading we'll say set loading is equal to true, and after this all happens we'll say set loading is equal to false, and we can set all of these inside a try catch, and then we can place it over here, and then in the catch we'll say set error, whatever the error is, right? So right, yeah. So as error. Okay. So now we have a rest over here. So we want to also have a data as a like the final data, right? So this will be of type any, because the data which we receive could be of type anything. So we'll say any, right? And for example, yeah. So this will be any. What happened? Why are you not explicitly? We'll say. Yeah, we'll ignore this for this line, and then what we can say is whenever we receive the data, we can say rest JSON is equal to rest.json, and then we can say await, and then we can set the data over here, and we can say JSON. Very simple. So we are setting this over here. So set loading initially true, then we fetch the data, and once that we have fetched the data, we set the data over here, and then we say set loading false, right? So this is a very simple fetch data function. And now what we can do is we can return all of these. So we can say loading, and then we can say error, and then we can say data. We can return all of this. And yeah, so, and then you can call this fetch data over here, right? So we have a very simple use fetch function which does a very simple thing. Whenever you pass a URL, it fetches and it maintains all the state, like error, like error, loading, and all the things. So this is a very simple example of how to create your own custom hook. And let's try to use this now. So for example, let's go to that same JSON placeholder, and let's say we want to fetch this data. So using that particular hook, so we'll say const whatever, like use fetch, not this, I mean use fetch. Not like, haven't I exported this? Oh, I haven't exported this. So we'll say export use fetch, and then what I can say is use fetch, right? Great. And then I can pass a URL to this. So now this will return certain things to me. This will return to me loading. But what am I returning from this function? Use fetch, I'm returning an array. So that's great. Okay. So I'm getting this value. What is the type of this value? Of type any. Are you serious? This shouldn't be of type any. I think I will define a type to this. So this will be of type and let's not return an array of this. I think we can return. So let's create a type. We'll call it return type of use fetch. And then what we have is we have an array. First is we have a boolean. Second is we have an error, and third is we have a data, so which is of type any. Again, we have to do this explicitly disable for this line because it doesn't allow any for some reason. I mean, for like, because our ESLint is not allowing us to do that. And now what we can say is this: the return type of this is return type of use fetch. Yeah. So the second one is not agreeing with us because this could be error or undefined, or it could be error or undefined, because there will not always be an error, right? So that's the reason. Okay. And data will be also any. Yeah, that's true. Now over here in the value, we can destructure this to anything. So we could have like a data. So we would have few things. Let's place it over here. So we are returning loading, error, and data, right? So we'll be having loading, error, and data over here. So what you can say is you can say if, like, for example, you can go over here. You can say if loading. Am I making this too complex? I think I am. I shouldn't create this much complex custom hook in like this tutorial, but still we are doing it because it's fun. Okay. So we can say loading, and then if there is an error, we can say there was some error. So if there is an error, we can say return like a div, there was some error, right? And then if everything goes well, we can directly log the data. So we can say JSON dot stringify data. Great. So yeah, so we have created our own custom hook, and I'll be explaining this hook. And let's see first of all, does this work or not? Too many re-renders. Oh, we have done some mistake in our hook. First mistake is I think we should do this on use effect, because we only want to fetch this in use effect. So yeah, I mean, sorry. And then I can call this fetch data over here, and I can do this over here. Great. So, and then I guess this needs to be only done for the first time, not like every time. Okay, now this should be happy with me. What do you mean? Forget it. So you can see now this is working. So this is exactly what I meant. So if I do this, you will see loading, and like it's showing loading. If you guys could notice, right? It is actually showing loading. So we have created a custom hook which helps us to fetch any data anywhere in the project, anywhere in the entire project. So use fetch could be used to fetch any data entirely in our project. So this is how you create custom hooks. Was creating custom hook clear to everyone? This is like a simple function which you create, which does not return any JSX. It does not return any JSX. It returns values. So what is it? Was it clear? Or I'll explain this in way like very detail. If this, I think I know I explained this in a very confusing way, but Just tell me, was it confusing? Should I explain this again? How is this working? How is this custom hook working? Yes, no, maybe, anything like that? Should I explain this again? Should I explain this again? How this use fetch is working, which I've created as a custom hook? Custom hook is nothing. Custom hook is very simple. Custom hook is a function which returns a value instead of some JSX. And then whatever you do in a normal React component, you can do inside it. That's what a custom hook is. Is it very clear? Clear, bro, easy. That's great, Gautam. I was worried. I was thinking that I'm explaining this terribly because yeah, I was removing and adding a lot of things very, very fast. So yeah, so this how it clear. I have used custom hook. Great, Nikhil has already used custom hook. So you can see we have created a use fetch custom hook, and I would recommend, if you are using something again and again and again, create a custom hook of that. Don't write your code again, right? So in programming, we follow a concept of dry, which is don't repeat yourself. Don't repeat yourself. That's what I wanted to say. Okay, great. So now we know all of these custom hooks. Should we, so this part is covered. So this part is done. Should we go to React Router version 6? Should we go to React Router version 6? So all of you guys who are interested for React Router version 6, let's get started. So first of all, what needs to be done is let's get rid of everything, right? Let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of this, right? And let's have use fetch. I mean, I don't care. Yeah. So what is this React router used for, right? So git add, how do you add React router? You'll say React router DOM. So you add React router DOM, and then it's added. So we have added the React router version 6.21.2, and there is certain change, there is certain new things in React router version 6, which was not there in version like earlier versions. We'll be definitely discussing them. So the first thing what we'll do is we will be so they have new the app router new. So React and please bro go deep in the React router. Sure bro. React router. So they have introduced a new routing method, not this one. Yeah, this is exactly the one which we want. And there's something called app router which they have introduced. What's new in React router version 6.4? Let's see what they have added new. Why is everything so slow? I don't know. Navigation. Not like, yeah. So hold. Picking a router. Yeah. So they have introduced this new thing called create browser router. So what is this and what new thing they have added? Just look at it very, very carefully, right? So there is something called so there is something called router provider. So you have to wrap your entire application with router provider. So either you do it in the main.tsx or whatever the main file, or you can do it in app.tsx. It's up to you. Let's do it in main.tsx, right? So you have to wrap your entire app with something called router provider, right? So yeah, you have to do this. And this router provider takes an object called router inside this. And what this router does, I'll be definitely explaining. So this router, so you can create a lot of routes from this. So you can say const routes is equal to, right? Const routes is equal to, and then it will be like create. We can use this function called create browser router, and then we can pass directly an array of routes. Then how do you do this? This is how you do this. See, so you say create browser router, and then you pass an array of routes. So routes will be path, for example, for like home page. For the home page, let's create a home page. Let's create a pages directory, and then in the pages directory we'll create a home page. So homepage.tsx, and then quickly let's create a home page. I'll be definitely explaining what is the difference before and what is like, what do you do now. Export default home page, right? And we'll say this is my home page, right? And then what you want to do is you want to basically, whenever you go to that like the slash route, right? Whenever you go to like localhost, whenever you go to localhost slash, right, at the home page, you want to render this home page. How do you do that? Very simple. The step one is wherever, like whichever is the topmost level at your at your component tree, simply have like surround your entire application with something called router provider, right? And this router provider takes an array of routes, and you don't simply give an array of route. You just say create browser router. Now there are different kinds of router available, and I'll be explaining what do you use them for. So for example, create browser router for like a normal browser based application. You use browser router, right? What is hash router? Hash router is used when you are using something like Electron.js. So if you are having Electron or something like that, then you use a hash router. The rest of them I don't know when do you use memory router or use static handler router. We might cover that some other day, but I think these are the two most important routers, which are the browser router and the hash router. Hash router is used in the applications like Electron.js. Browser router is used for normal browser based application. Okay, so let's go ahead. So here you first pass element, and then you pass first pass path, and then element will be home page. So let's say home page, and there you go. So if you find the routes, we'll be passing this routes over here. Okay, what else does it need? So it says children is not a, what do you mean by this? Okay, so oh, you don't pass a children because yeah, of course, why would you pass in children? So great, there's no children passed, so directly you pass this. And now what happens is when you go to your home page, oh, we I think turned off our server. So we'll just say yarn dev and great. So whenever you go, you directly land your home page because the default path, which is like the slash, you have passed the home page as an element. So whatever you pass in this slash, which is the root of your directory, you go to the home page, right? So that's the first thing. How do you add another page? So for example, let's say we have an about us page. So about us.tsx. How do you add this? So for example, I'll just copy this from here and paste this, and then instead of home page, I'll say about us page. So about us, right? For example. So if I have to add this at slash about us, what I'll do is I'll add another element. I'll call it path, and I'll just say slash about us or about whatever, and then I can pass the element called about us, right? This must be new for a lot of you because version 6 has changed this a little bit. So before we used to use like this route object for defining all the routes, but now we use something like this, which is routes create browser router. So this is called app router, and this gives you a lot of new hooks, which we will be discussing in a while. But let's continue like this right now. So we have this about, so you can go to like slash about, and now we are at the about us. If we go back, we are home page, go front, we have about us. Great. So we have two routes added. So that's how you add routes. The next thing what we will be learning is how you can go from this just home page to about us page by clicking a button, right? So by link, it is very simple. By link, so you can directly go over here in the home page. You can directly say, okay, what do I want to do is so I want to have a link. So let's say I can say link, right? And then I can give go to home, something like that. Go to home, right? And I can give like href over here, href lang. I think this is not for example, let's say first button, let's say, so go to about us, let's say, for example. So from home to about us, whenever you click this button, you want to go from home to about us. How do you do that? It's pretty simple. There's a hook for that, which is called use navigate. So navigate hook, and then you say use navigate, right? And then use navigate. This navigate gives you a function, which is navigate function, and you can use this to go from any one place to another place. So for example, if I just say on click, and I can go to I can click navigate, and I can say slash about, right? And then this will help me to go to the about us page. See, whenever I click this, I'm in the about page. So this use navigate gives you a navigate function, which you can use to basically go from one page to another page. I hope so use navigate is clear. Okay, this is one part. We'll be covering a lot of hooks in React Router DOM. So this is one of them, right? So the next hook which we are gonna cover is called use search param. Always like listen to this I think it is called link to, right? Yeah, that's we can do it using link to as well. So if you don't want a button, you can do like link, and then you can do like go to about, and you can do like link to, and then you can do like slash about. This would also work, I guess. So you can go over here. This also works like that. Now the next question is how do you so few tricks on navigate function. If you pass -1 in navigate function, you can go back. So for example, in the about us page, if we create a button and we say if we say go back, like I have to create a go back functionality, right? So what I can do is I can similarly I can take that navigate function, right? I'll call it nav right now. So you can use navigate, and in this nav function, what I can pass is I can pass -1, and this passing -1, what will it will do is it will throw me back to this. So if I go to about us page, and if I have to go back, I can click go back, and it will go back. So this pops one thing out of that entire React like stack which is created, right? So this -1 does that, right? So I think -1 makes sense, right? So navigate function nav -1 pops you back, and then passing a route to like this navigate function takes you that to that route. Okay, there's one more thing. This takes one additional parameter, and there's called replace, right? So replace, if you hit replace true, it will forget the history, so it will not push this into the back folder. For example, if I just re-enter this, right, and if I go to about us page, so go to about, so if I just click this, and if I click go back, it will go to dashboard. It will not go to, like, it will go to some other location, but it will not go to this location, like which was the previous location, because I say replace true. And where do you use this replace true? For example, when you log in, right, or when you sign up, you don't want the user to click back and come to the sign up page again because he has already signed up, right? So then you pass this replace true. I hope so this makes sense, right? So this is one thing. Let's move ahead. Let's move other things in React route. I hope so you guys are finding this interesting a little bit of like how React router works. Let's move ahead. Let's increase the difficulty now. So next thing is use params, right? So what is use params and how do you use this? Let's learn use search params first. So there's a hook called use search params, and then if you know, you guys must be knowing that we could have, hold on, 5173, we could have search params over here. So we can say like question mark and then test is equal to, and then pass some values and do all those things. So you could have search params over here. You can directly do that using React router DOM. How do you do that? You can use like this use search param. It gives you two things. First is a value, and then set search param. So two things like this, a value and set search param. So for example, let's say you want to set some param, right? You want to set like let's say some value, like set value, right? So on click, how do you set values using this use search param? It's very simple. You say set search param, and then you pass an object, and inside that object you can pass whatever search param you want to set. So for example, I want to set like value. I'll say value is hello, how are you, whatever, right? So you can set whatever you want. So I'll set it to text, right? So if I do this and if I click set value, you can see the search param of set value has been set. So set value is up there in the browser. If you could, it's very small, I guess, but you guys could see like this is there. So to set a search param, you can use set search param, and to get a search param, you can use val. So I would get this search param as well. So I can say val.get, and then so it gives you a function called get, and then you can pass the value of the key. For example, value is the key, so I'll be passing value over here, and I'll be saving this. So you can see whenever we change this, we can do this. So yeah, so if I just say something else, and if I just set it, you can see this is working, right? And remember, all the use effect, use all those things works on search param as well. So for example, let's say I want to have like use effect, and I want to say what do I want to say? I want to say val.get value, and if value changes, I want to log something, like I want to log this is working. I don't know this will work or not. I'm not sure. Hold on, will this work? Is a complex expression dependency array extracted to separate? Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, I can extract this to a separate like value. So I can say const value is equal to something like this. And then I can pass the value inside this. Right? There you go. So this would work. So if because this will not changing, so this is not theirs, but typically if this would like change, this use effect will be called again. So you can call a use effect on search param as well. So if the search param is clear, we'll be going to use params. Is search param clear for all of you guys who are watching? Tell me yes or no. Is search param clear? How to use search param in a React router? Is that clear? Then we'll be going to use params. No replies, so I guess search param is also clear. So after search param, before learning use params, we have to learn something called dynamic routing. Unexpected error. We would, hey developer, can you provide a better way to fix UI UX than when your app throws in? This is, let's go over here. I guess my app is just weird. Okay. So there you go. So the next thing what we can do is we'll be learning about a dynamic thing. So let's say we have a post page, right? So we have a post page and we want to show, we want to go to like /post/post ID. So we want to go to like /posts/ whatever ID it is. So 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever ID it is. And if you would notice, this part ID is dynamic, right? So it is not fixed. So every post will not have the same ID. Every post will be having different IDs. So how do you make sure that you handle this in your application using React Router? It's pretty simple. So in this, what you do is you just create a path. You create another path, and what you do is you just say /posts, right? Whatever post/post ID, right? So always remember this. Whatever you write with a like a ratio sign, or what do you call semicolon, whatever this is. So whatever you write after this becomes a dynamic thing. So you can place any number in place of this post ID, and that would like resolve this route. Okay. So now if you pass an element over here, and if you just say for example, if you just say post what was that post? Okay. So let's right now let's not no, let's copy this and let's paste this over here, and let's call it post page, something like that. And let's say this is post page. Okay, so this is post page, and let's say you want this post page to be appearing whenever we go over here. So we say post page, and whenever we go to this link, we'll be in the post page. See, we are at the post page, which is interesting, right? But now the problem is post page, right? So we are at the post page, but how do you retrieve this? How do you get this post ID? Because you would be requiring this post ID to fetch the post, to fetch the actual post. How do you fetch this post, right? That's the question we have to answer. So that using something called params. So you say use params, and inside this you get that thing, right? So here this params is basically like a key value pairs of like all the params. So here you can destructure this. First of all, I would like to like log this params so that you can see what comes over here, right? So then this will make a little bit of sense. You can say this gives you an object with post ID. Post ID is what, like you must be like thinking like, where does this key came from? This key is directly coming from whatever you have mentioned over here. So whatever dynamic part you have mentioned, this is exactly that key is coming, and the value of that key is coming over here. So how do you restructure that, and how do you receive that? Very simple. So I can write I can write an h2 over here, and I can say for post ID, and I can say params dot post ID. This is one way to do it. So you can say this is the post ID for post ID. If I just change the post ID, or like if I just change the value, you will see that different value over here. And always remember, type of this is string. So if you have to send this as an integer, simply parse this integer. So how do you parse this? Parsent, and then you pass this over there, and then that's how you have it. So that's how you use params. So in React router, what did we learn? React router DOM. We learned how to define routes, right? Uh, we learned dynamic routes. We learned use search params. We learned use params. What do we learn? What next? Oh, use navigate. Okay. And but by the way, these are some basic things. Was it clear? Was use, so whatever we covered in the React router DOM, was it all clear, or you guys have some doubt in some part? Just let me know. Then we'll be moving ahead. Uh, route loader link, nav link. Navlink is also very interesting. We can use Navlink as well. So let's learn outlet. How do you use outlet? This is a little bit advanced topic. How to use outlet. So let's learn this. So for example, let's say you want to have some some outer template of your page, right? So you want to have navigation bar, and you want to have like this bottom, whatever the thing is, and you want to render something as a child, right? So how do you do that? For example, I want to have this. So I want to have, like, for example, uh, in the main page, right? I'll just go to the main page. Hold on. In the main page, I want to have like an like this. I'll just say, for example, I'll give you an example, right? So path. So for example, all of these, right? For all of these, right? For all of these, let's say I want to have a container. Oh, how should I do it? I'm just thinking of a good example to do it. So for example, let's say I want to have a an outer container based on which the inner thing should be decided. So for example, I could have an element, and I could say this is my container. So let's create a container over here. So container dot tsx, not ts, it should be tsx, because this is a TypeScript component. Okay, so we'll say const container is equal to react dot fc. No doubt, bro. That's great. Amazing. There's no doubt. That's great. Okay. So we have a div. I'll be explaining what this is. Okay. Just be with me on this. Okay. For a while. So export default. No. We don't want to do that. Default container. So for example, let's say we want to have a navigation bar, and all the children should appear below that. So we want to have a navigation bar, and we want to have all the children below that. So we want to have like some nav and then some navigation. So I want to have home over here. So I want to have a link, nav link called home, right? So not like this. I want to have like home. I guess this doesn't work like this. So then two, and then this will be like slash home, and then I want to have another nav link called like about and something like that. So I want to have a parent like this, and I want to have all the children's below it. Like, so I want to have all the children's over here, like let's say in this div. So what I can do is I can say this is the outlet. So this comes with this, and what this outlet will do, you will understand in a second. But just think from this perspective, that whatever it will resolving, whatever it will be, I'll join your coming stream till the end. I'll join your coming stream till the end. Okay, great, Yash. Okay, so I'll join your coming stream. Oh, the next stream you will be joining till the end. Okay, sure. So this outlet, this what it will do is, whatever this home page we want to render over here, this about page and we want to render over here, and all this above section should be like this. So we want to build a container, and inside the container it should render all the things. How do you do this? So you basically you go over here, and let's say we want to have the container of all these different pages, all these pages, right? So what do we do is we just say we just we just pass all of these as a children, right? So we'll just cut all of these things from here, and we'll pass this as a children over here. And hold on, there's something wrong. Oh, I think we missed one of the curly brackets. So we just do this, and then what do we do is we just say element, and this is container, right? So this will do what is, there will be a parent. So you can see this is home. Why is this home? Should be home and about us, right? So it should be home and about. So see, we have built a navigation bar, and when we click about, the about renders. When we click home, our application, this React router is very unstable, I guess, for some reason. Yeah, it shouldn't go to slash home. It should go to like this. Okay, so when we go to about, when we go to like this, you can see the navigation bar stays at its place on the top, but whatever result is being rendered at wherever we place this outlet. Was this clear to all of you guys who are watching? Outlet simply renders the children based on the whatever the route they have, right? And you could have a parent route as well. So you can say path, and then it is resolved based on that. So you can have like a parent route as well. That's completely fine. Was outlet clear, or should I explain this more? Yes or no? Explain me, and then we'll be like, just tell me, and then we'll be moving ahead. Yes or no? Or should I explain this more? Anywhere, like anyone if who didn't got what I did with this outlet thing right now. I think all of you guys got it. Okay, the next thing what I want to explain is how do you create a 404 route. For example, if I do go on something else, it breaks, right? For example, if I go on this page, it says unexpected application error. It couldn't find some this and there should be some error boundary and all those things. 404 not found, that's the error, right? So we don't want to show this ugly page. We want to have some beautiful 404 page which shows like good thing. It shows whatever we want rather than application showing that error page. How do you do that? How do you do that? It's pretty simple. You just go to your route and you go to like the end route and you call this default. I think there's a path variable, and then you say for all the path for everything. Like okay, I'm gonna resolve this thing called a div, which says route not found 404. In place of this, you can pass definitely an entire component. So it's up to you. But to create a 404 route in React Router version 6, what you do is you pass all as a route. So if I do like this now, it will see route not found, and the navigation bar is still there, right? If you don't want the navigation bar to be there, just remove it from this array and place it outside the array. So like place this over here. Wait, what's wrong? Oh, just don't place this over here. Place this over even out of place. So now even the navigation bar wouldn't be visible. So you can see this is how you create a 404 route in React Router DOM. So let's add to the list. What have we learned? Let's add to the list. Where is the list we created? I think we lost the list. Okay, so I'll just make a recall. So we learned how to render basic pages using React Router DOM. I forgot path. What did you forget? What did you forget? I'm sorry. Oh, so you don't know what this path does? See, React Router does like from top, it starts searching for the path. Like, is this the path? No. Is this the path? No. Is this the path? And then when you pass star, it will automatically match. If nothing matches, this will match for sure, right? So if this matches, this element will be rendered by default if nothing gets rendered. So that's how you get a 404 route by using star. If you're using a React Router DOM. Very simple, right? I hope so this makes sense, right? Also, you can use this container thing, what I'm telling you, as a authentication provider. So you can wrap your entire children inside something called check authenticated, and then you can check it is authenticated. If it is authenticated, you can allow the children to be rendered. Otherwise, you can so you are not authenticated, you get lost, something like that. So all of these use cases could be catered using something like this. If it was clear, we'll be moving ahead. Otherwise, we'll be staying over here. So I think here we have already done all the basics and a little bit advanced of React Router DOM. Do you want something else? Are we missing something else? I think navlink has a very interesting property. I don't know. I'm not sure they still have it. It's like active on active or something like that. Something it was there. I don't remember the exact property. It was class name. Oh yeah, there you go. So it has a property called class name, right? And this returns a what do you call this? This gives you two things, which is it active, right? And then you will say is active. If it is active, then some class name, right? So I want to say if it is active, then I want to have like the color to be black, right? And if it is not active, right? If it is not active, then I could have something else. So I could say I want to have like the color should be blue or something. Yeah, bro, clear. I think why are you angry, bro? What happened with you? Class name, and then this is like this, and then what do you mean by pending and active? I don't get it. Oh, this is class name. I can tell it with style as well. Like can I do it with style? Can I do it with style? Oh, this is class name. I want to do it with style. Yeah, I can do this with style as well. Awesome. So I don't need class name. Of course, you can do it with class name as well. So I will be doing it with style because, yeah, because why not? Okay. So if you can say if this is active, like if this is this is the current path, then what you can do is you can return something. You can say, okay, so then the color should be something like red. Then the color should be oh, what am I typing? Then the color should be red. Otherwise, if it is not active, which is like it is not the current path, then you can return the color should be something like blue. There you go. So now what you can do is you can go over here and you can say that if you go to like slash, you can see home is red right now. So, oh wait, this shouldn't be like this. This exact is like a thing, I guess. Thanks, bro. Thank you so much for the effort. Now I need to leave. Sorry. Will come afternoon. Will you meet you tomorrow? Okay, sure, Gautam. No worries. Uh, you can definitely go. Uh, I guess there was a thing called exact or something like that, and they have taken out that. Forget it. This is not a part of basic thing, so will not focus on this. We'll be learning few more things in this React Router DOM. A few of them is like use path name. I think path is going to use path, use resolved path, and then yeah. So I think knowing this much basic of React Router DOM is more than enough for creating basic projects. Let's now move ahead. So the next thing what we'll be covering is, if you see in the plan, we have global state management like Zustand. So let's cover Zustand now. How does Zustand work? And we'll be understanding all of those things. So over here, okay. So let's quickly understand Zustand. So let's install Zustand. So yarn add Zustand. Right? It's a global state management solution like Redux, like all those things, but it is way simpler than any of those stuff. Right? So we'll say yarn dev. Now what you can do is over here, so you can create a folder called your store, right? So create a folder called store, where you'll be storing all your global states. Arunava Ghosh, hey Arunava, what's up? How are you doing? And how's life? Okay. So here what we'll do is we'll have something called, let's say, used global store. You can name this anything, right? I'm just naming this global store. You can name this absolutely anything, right? And then from the Zustand, you get a function called produce. So from Zustand, you get something called produce. I see Zustand instead of Redux. I see Zustand instead of Redux. I feel happy, bro. I don't know why people even use like I think it's called produce. What do you mean? What is the function name? It's called create store. Okay, they have changed the name. They have changed the name, bro. They have changed the name. Zustand changed the name. Zustand changed the name. How can they change the name, bro? So okay. It's create. Okay, it's create. Oh, they haven't changed the name. I forget the name. Okay, so we have create function, and this create function helps you to create any store. So for example, let's say I want to create a global store, right? So I will say global store, and I'll say I'll say use global store, right? Because this gives you a React hook. So we'll say use global store, and then you can create a create hook, right? And this gives you a set function as a callback, right? For example, and then Adarsh Tiwari, hey Adarsh, what's up? How are you? How are you doing? So I'll be definitely explaining this, how this works. Hold on. But first, let me write this, use global store. So what this happens is basically this gives you a function called create, and create accepts a function inside this as a parameter. So create itself expects a function inside this, and that function gives you a set function. What the set function does, this set function can mutate whatever state you provide by default over here. So you can have anything over here and you can mutate that. If you still have question, look, what the hell are you talking about? It will all make sense. For example, let's have an interface. For example, let's build an interface. So like global store type, right? And then the first thing what we'll have is we'll have some value. For example, this is a number, right? And then you can have set some value, and then you can give it some new value, which will again be a number, and this will be a void. So, and then I'll be explaining, wait, hold on. Some things you can only explain after writing, okay? So what I have done in this is I have told that this store, the type of the store is this, which is global store type. And this has one value and this has one function, which is set value. Okay. Do we have any Discord? Yes, we have Discord function. I mean Discord channel, I guess. We do have a Discord channel, which I need new members. Hold on. So I can go over here, invite people. Then I just copy this, and this is the Discord channel. Definitely you guys could join. There you go. Okay, so here inside this, what you can do is you can have a value and you can have a set value, And inside the value, you can pass the whatever the default value you need. For example, I need the default value to be 0. I place 0. And then you can have the set value. Set value like gives you a value. And then you can call this set function, and you can only mutate this. So you don't need to copy all the other things. So you can say value is whatever new value is passed. So now this is your store, which could globally be used anywhere throughout your project, and you can maintain the value of set value and value through these two, this function and this value. I'll just show you how to use this. For example, in the home page, right? So we have a home page, right? So we say, okay, for example, I just say use global store, and I go back, and then I say use global store, and then I have a value, right? So if I just set the value over here, right? So I'll just say value, and I want to change the value of this. I want to change the value of this from some other component. For example, let's say I want to change the value of this from about us, right? So I'll have a button. For example, I want to get rid of this. I want to have a button, and I want to change the value of that from here. So what you can do is you can say use const use global store, and then what you can do is you can so this is basically returning whatever you have in your global store. So this is returning value and set value, right? So we just want set value, so we'll restructure that. So we'll say set value, and then what we can do is we can say set no add one to value, right? Something like that. And then what I can do is I can just go and say on click, right? And I can say set value, and whatever the previous value was, what is the previous value? You can get it from here only. Bro, which code editor are you using? I'm using VS Code with Vim as an extension. I'm using VS Code with Vim as an extension, yeah. Right. So I have a value, so I can say value plus 1. Yeah. So I can say value plus 1, and this will do what is this will globally change the value of like value of value. That's a little bit confusing, but whatever. So we have is there. If we go to about us page, and if we just add a couple of time 1, and if we go to home, you can see the value is 7, because that store is globally available, like how you have it in Redux or any other global state management solution. And it is way easier. You can see it is very simple to understand. It's very simple to work with. You don't have to create all those actions and then reducers and then all those things. You don't have to do any of those. It is way simpler and way easy to use, right? So this is how you create this. This is how like a normal state you can use this. For example, let's say you can have many other things. So for example, I could have like a name of the user, which is a string. I could have set name. Then your set name would, what do you expect? Like in the set name, you would have some name, and which will be of type string, and then that will be of type void, and then you can have like 30 different stuff, right? So you can have like whatever. You can have like age. You can have like address. You can store whatever you wish, and you can create as many stores as possible. It is not necessary that you only create one global store. You can create whatever you wish. So I can give a default value like this, and then I can say set name, and I can say name, and then I can say set, and then I can pass name over here, and I can say name. Yeah, there you go. So all of this works like this. This is how you create a global store. It is just me, or the video is delayed 10 second then chat. The video is delayed from 10 second then chat. This is true. This is why this is, because I think YouTube shows the chat a way late for some reason. Uh, yeah, that's what it is. I'll enable the chat. Hold on, I can do that. You can also see the chat right now. I guess this is the chat. So it is really slow for some reason. The chat is slow. Oh bro, oh bro, there's like the chat is really slow for some reason. Why is it too late? I don't know. Uh, but chat is really slow. I agree with you. This is so annoying. I'll fix this, Arnava. I'll fix this from the next stream, but let's let's uh, let's bear this for this stream. For this stream, let it be like this. For the next stream, most probably I'll fix this. Okay. So okay, this is how you use Zustand. I think Zustand basics covered. So we'll go to this a list of things which we want to cover. So we will tick Zustand. So we know how Zustand works. The last thing which is left is Andy and Chakra. So we'll have to pick one. I think both of them could not be covered. So I would let you guys pick which one do you want to learn. Do you want to learn Andy, or do you want to learn Chakra? Which one is the thing which you guys would like to use? Chakra or Andy? Select one. Which component library would you like to use, or would you like to learn? Chakra or Andy? Uh, can you guys pick one, please? Shard CN. Ah, that's good, but uh, uh, I actually have like, should we use Shard CN? Yes, that's also an option. We can use that, but that require a whole Tailwind CSS setup. I don't want to go Tailwind CSS route. Please pick any, both, like any one of them. I'll create Shard CN as well someday, like maybe tomorrow or something. Chakra UI. Adarsh is saying Chakra UI. Is there anyone who doesn't agree with Adarsh? Anyone who is up for and D? Just say now, because now then I'll start Chakra and then we'll not change that. So if anyone else wants something else, please tell right now. Okay, others want Chakra UI, we'll go for Chakra UI. So Chakra UI is a very interesting component library, and it looks great. Like I think this looks great, and yeah, this looks great. So let's see how do you do this. So if you go to like, this is the framework guide. So what we are using is, we are using Vite. So we'll go to Vite, and then what you do is you install all of these stuff. So we'll just copy this. So you install Chakra UI, React, Emotion, React, and all those things. I've copied this, and I'll go over here and I'll stop my dev server, and I'll say yarn, no yarn. We'll just do this. We'll go to home, and then we'll click delete, 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 and we'll say yarn add. So you just have to go to this Chakra UI page, and you have to add this. Very simple, super simple. And then what you can do is, yeah, and I'll be telling you guys some very basic components of Chakra UI, some of the very useful components of Chakra UI. So I'll be explaining all of those things. And Chakra UI is really great, let me tell you. So you don't need even CSS to do anything in like, if you are using Chakra UI, it's good, trust me. And let's wait for this installation to happen, and then we'll be using Chakra UI in our project. So okay, so let's start Chakra UI. So how do you use Chakra UI in the project? First of all, whatever wherever your global, like wherever globally you are handling, so what you need to do is, you have to wrap your entire application with something called Chakra provider. So you have to wrap this with Chakra provider, Chakra provider. Great. And then simply paste this over here. Great. So you have to wrap your entire application with this, and then now let's go to the home page and let's start designing our application. So let's start making our application better with whatever Chakra provides us. So let's go first of all to the container, and here what you can have is, instead of having this ugly looking whatever thing, so let's have it like in like a little bit better. So we can I think there is a nav bar, or like there's like a box available. Yeah, there's a box. So box is like div. Box is like div in Chakra. Always remember, whenever I write box, it's like div in Chakra. So do not get confused. Okay. So then I think I do have a container as well. So I can write like, I can go over here and I can write like return container, right? And then I can have like a box or something like that, right? And then I can have like a, I have some message, I guess. Uh, yeah. Okay. So we have a container, and inside the container, let's start with a button, and we can have a button called go to home, right? And then we can say color is primary, yes, no, or we can leave it like to the default color. I think there is a variant or something like that, variant or type or something like that. It's a button, that's, we don't want to, we have no confusion in that. So go home, and then what happened? Okay, we have, I think variant is there. So variant is, let's forget it. Okay, so let's save this. And after saving this, what do we have? Oh, we have two containers. Why do we have two containers? We shouldn't have two containers. Why don't we have, why haven't we imported container? I don't know. Let's have it like a box. Let's have it like inside this. Okay. So we have done this, and I guess we haven't started the server. So let's say yarn dev, We started the development server, and then we can refresh. You can say go home, and it's like it's looking way better than what we were doing before. So go home is better. Now we can wrap this inside. I guess container is there. I'm pretty sure it is not there. Are you serious? Oh, the our component name is also container, and inside this we also have a container as chakra container, right? So because we have this, the name is pretty same, so we have to do as, you can say chakra container, and then we could have all those. We don't have that. We don't have that. Okay, so we can have a button, and we can say chakra container. We can just go to home, right? And then if you want to fill this, what you can do, and if you want padding, some padding, so you can say padding top, and I want like 10 padding from the top. And then if I want that like some color, so I can say color should be like blue, right? So the color will be blue. I can check I think the background color as well, something like yeah. So I can say background color blue, and then I can change the color of this to be white. So all of those things is available. So I can do this like this. See, so now this is like this, and I can have like another button. I can say that should be like go to about, and then we could have that navigate thing. Once navigate, nav is equal to use navigate, and then I think this is I I think this is Discord sending you notification because I wrote in the Discord channel. Yes, Discord is sending me notification. Exactly, you're correct. So you can say on click, and then you can pass nav to this, and then what you can say is this is home. I guess this is home. Yeah, and then we can have another on click, and then yeah, I can just do this, and then this could be about. And the way you give space between the elements is, what you can do is you can just you can okay, so you can cut everything which is inside this, and you can have something called spaced, I think, spacer, right? You can have something called spacer which will give space. I think you need to give direction to this, so I think a direction or dir, which is horizontal, or like horizontal, right? Like this. Now how do you use spacer? The best way to learn this is like go to the documentation and start looking at the components. What I want to see is for spacer, so I'm using spacer, and then you can go like this, and then yeah, I don't know, we can even I guess we don't even need this. We can have like, where's the spacer, bro? Why don't we have this spacer? Where are we using spacer? So we can say spacer. Oh, this is the spacer. We don't want that. Okay, we don't want any spacer like that. Okay, so we can go take this buttons out, and we can have this inside a box, and then inside the box what we can say is this is flex 1, and then gap 10. I guess that will fix us. No, still not. Oh, because why is this not working? I don't know. I think we can give a margin left which will work. You can say margin left is 10, which would work. Yeah, there you go. So you have a go left and go right. There you go. And then what we can do is we can this works, I think, about us, and yeah. So then what we can do is we can have another box over here, and we can have our outlet over here, so that all other components over here. Bro, I'm not good at reading documentation, so what should I do? I don't understand. Oh, so you're not good at reading documentation. What should you do? Bro, what do you mean by good at reading documentation? So first of all, I would recommend copy an example. I think every documentation have some example. For example, if I'm in React router, right, I'll just copy and paste this example. uh, a lot of people say, as a developer you should not copy paste. I believe you should copy paste, but intelligently, right? So if you copy paste the example and then tweak with it a little bit, play with it, right, you'll get a very good idea of how it is working. So for example, if I have to understand, let's say Zustand, right, if I have to learn Zustand, what I'll do is I'll go to the Zustand official website, for example GitHub. I'll just search for Zustand, and they have given an example, right? So They have given an example. So I'll just copy paste this and I'll try to change stuff, and I'll just try to like I'll just try to change stuff, and I'll try to make sense of things. Okay, it's pretty simple. Reading documentation and understanding something is easy if you believe you can do it. So like you'll have to be like, at least you'll have to be like that, I will understand this. You'll have to believe this. Most people just think before only that reading documentation wouldn't make sense. It will, bro. Like, just give it some time. It's normal English, right? Nothing very complex. Okay. So okay, so we have two buttons, we have certain things over here. Let's learn some other components, right? So you have learned how to use button, you have learned how to use box, and this box comes with all the CSS properties. So you could use like empty is margin top, ML is margin, yeah, learn by example. Exactly. Margin left is margin left, and then you can have like padding is like padding, and then whatever you can pass any CSS properties directly as an attribute to all the Chakra UI components, which is quite awesome, which is great, right? Okay, okay, thank you, bro. Great, thank you, Adarsh, to you as well. Okay, so let's go to the homepage. Let's go to the homepage, and let's recreate this in a better way. I don't know, we don't have anything to create, so we can have a card like this, and we can place everything inside that, I guess. Yeah, so now you have a card. You can see this, which looks a little bit better. And then inside this, we can have like a something called a card body. So we can have like a card body, I guess, body like this, and then we can paste this over here. So now that I think this looks good, see, and now you can give like a margin tops like 20. So it's like a 20 top margin top, and then you could have a heading, not like H1, but you could actually have a heading where you can place the value. Uh, this is my heading, right? So you can do this, and you can see we are creating good UI just by like using some of the basic components of Chakra UI. So we learned how to use card body. You can even use table. So for example, let's say if I have to use table, I'll just say table, right? And then I guess it helps you to uh, so I have used very heavily. I've used Andy very heavily, but Chakra UI I'll have to see the documentation a little bit. So basically, how do you do this? Is you place everything inside a table container. You say table container, and then what you do is you have a table finally inside this. So table, uh, right? And then it is very simple. You have like the same thing how you create in like HTML. So you have a tr, which is table row, and then you have a th, which is table heading. So you say, let's say for example ID, and then you can have like a name, uh, 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 name, and you could have like a marks, something like that. And then what you can do is you can have a table row again, where you have like table data, which is td, right? And then you can have like ID, like let's say this is your ID, right? And then you could have like a name. What do you like? Actually, I recently started learning React JS from YouTube, and from there I stumbled upon your channel, and I have even watched your first video to understand what going on. But today I got a little. That's great, bro. That's great. But see, if you want to watch my videos, watch it. But I would recommend, like, as a developer, create a habit of exploring the documentation and getting things out there from there, because the tech is changing very rapidly. Like what React just looks like right now, it wouldn't look the same like 2 years from now or 3 years from now. It will be very different. So you have to learn from directly the docs. That will be very helpful. You see, we have created our table. So you create table with by very simply, like the way you do like in normal HTML. Just you used to use Chakra UI for that. So I just do this, and then we have a table with these rows, and we have a card component, and we have a table. What else do we have? What else interesting thing we have? We have a flex. That's interesting, but we don't care about that. We can have a form is interesting. So let's see, look at the form. How do you construct form? So you could have like a input. Bro, I messaged you LinkedIn. Rahul Anand. Oh, you have messaged me your link. You have messaged your resume. Let's look at it. I think I did got your mail. Oh, this is you, right? Rahul Anand. Okay, so where's your resume? Where is it? Let's open it. So this is your resume. Let's see how's your resume. Profile, you have this phone number, GitHub, LinkedIn. Good. Does this work? So if I go to your GitHub, does it? How's it? Bro, change this image, bro. Change this image. Like have something professional. I think that will help you. Have something professional over here. Yeah. Okay. So you have created movie app, developed responsive interface with React to ensure an optimal user experience. Utilize Redux toolkit for efficient and organized data handling. Implement seamless navigation with React router. Integrate custom hooks with enhanced functionality. Integrated pagination to manage large data set effectively. Leverage TMDB API to enable user discover movies. Okay. Random person Discord link, please. Yes, random person. I have the Discord link for you. Discord. Uh, where do you get? Invite people, copy, and then here's the Discord link. Should I? Okay, we'll do that later. So, Rahul Anand, I looked at your resume. You are master at computer application. That's amazing with Chandigarh University. So when you write like this, for example, movie app, right? You are so for any application, right? We know that we use React router, and for example, we know that React. So all the technologies. First of all, okay, wait, hold on. You can write in one word, like try to like do not create it long because it creates your resume long. If you could have it in three sentences, that's okay, but it should, for example, like for like if I am your I'm like if I'm seeing your resume for a job, I wouldn't read all of that because I have like 100 resumes to review, right? So create it short, but it should give a lot of information. So it should directly tell that this is a movie app built using React, Redux toolkit and React router, right? Right, using custom hooks, and like all the technology explained in one word and all the functionality explained in one word, and then you can give your GitHub link. So try to create it short. Like I think having it like a lot of point for a single project is a little bit, what do you say? It doesn't appear good. Okay. Also, your resume is very what do you say? Minimal, bro. So have it like you could improve on the design, I guess. For example, I can show you my resume, but I have my lot of my personal information over there, so I cannot show you directly my resume. But okay, but you could definitely use some interesting like resume templates. If I go to images, I'm not saying copy the template, but you could have like something like not like this. I mean, without these charts, these type of resume looks really good, like dual tone resume with these kind of stuff. uh, so this would look really good. For example, take something like this and create your resume in something like Figma. Trust me, Figma resumes like it helps you create amazing resumes. So you can create something like this, which will help you. Next thing is blog app. This app seems really good, bro. The UI of this app is really good. If you have built this, this is good. If I go to Napoleon, what will I get? I get, oh bro, the UI is great, bro. Your bro, you create such an amazing UI, bro. Like just like make your resumes the same. Like you could create it way impressive, I guess. Uh, then you have movies, and then you have weeks. This is so good. Can I search this? If I just search for Harry Potter. Oh, this is so good. This is so. Oh, you have the caching as well. This is an amazing project. So all of you guys who are asking suggestion, how should I create my project? This is how you should create your project. This is very good. Trust me, this is very good, Rahul. This project is really good. If you have coded this entirely on your own, it's insane. It's great. Can I click on these? Oh, it's not. It's okay. Does this videos actually play if I just click on them? Yeah, they do. That's insane. Okay. Great. This is an amazing project. This is an amazing project. What else do we get from your resume? Let's see. Uh, so we have a blog app. I guess this will be also as good as the previous one. Oh, bro, don't. Okay. If you're placing such things in your resume, try to have some good blogs. Like literally, try to have some good blogs. Don't have like something like this. So if I click login, what will happen? Sign in with Google. Why will I sign in with Google in your vlog? Okay. The first one was good. Second one was not good. The contact app. This the UI is not good. Straightforward. If I just say test, what is this? What do I even do? So add contact, but where without signing up, where will it be saved? Bro, UI, this the first app is really good. The second and third app is not good. So take it out if you can. I have done functionality on my own, and designing part is done by my friend. That's interesting. Okay. I would say remove these apps, bro. These are not adding anything. Like these are when your first project is so good, right? And your second and third project is so like not so good, right? The only thing which comes in the whoever is reviewing your resume is the first is not created by this guy. That's why I said if it is already like the full thing is created by you. So don't add these two, right? Let's remove them if you don't have anything else like very good. Unless you don't have anything else extremely good, remove these two things, right? Having one project is okay for an internship, I guess. That's good. So the great, bro, great. Just first project amazing. Resume, you can improve on the design skills, I guess. Take your skills to the top, bro. You can have it below the profile or something. That's my recommendation. Okay. Let's move ahead. I think and then for the Chakra UI, I think okay, we were in the Chakra UI, right? So that's how okay, so let's discuss the form. I think do we have a form, something like that? Yeah, we have a form. We could have form and then you could have like form item, I guess. Form item, something like that. Form field. Oh, how do you handle form in this? Form control, import, usage, whatever. So you have this, you say form and then you have form label and then what about input? So you do this. Great. So you can directly have inputs to in this. So for example, inside the form, if I want few inputs, I can say directly input, and I can do this, uh, and I can say placeholder. I can say like name, for example. I can say another one like email, something like that. And then once I go over here on my link, you can see that I have name and we have email instead of what we were having. It shouldn't be place content. It should be placeholder, right? Similarly, it should be placeholder. Right, there you go. So you can add it like this, and you can have this inside place like whatever card body. So yeah, there you go. So this is like this. Great, right? So this is how you use Chakra UI. I know I didn't give a very in depth because we are already up on time. We might have a Chakra UI separate video, but I hope so. All of you guys learned. And if you have a question that what should I learn next after like learning whatever I told you, learn this React hook forms. This will tell you how to handle forms very well. Next, what you can I would recommend is learn Tailwind CSS. Very good alternative of using CSS or anything like that in the front end. Use Tailwind CSS. Next thing you can learn something called Zod. Zod is basically a validation library which you can use for validating form data in the front end as well as in the back end. So all these things you can learn after whatever I have covered in this 3 hours, approximately 3 hours. So thank you, and I'm dropping off. And I hope so you learned something out of this stream. And have a great day. Bye bye. And yeah, bye. And bye.